y'all, and welcome to day 5 of Sideshow New York Con Live. I'm Vanessa Gritton. I'm going to be your host today. If you haven't seen me before, other than a few giveaway videos and sketches, I'm a newer host here at Sideshow, and I'm already so pumped to be here. I've fogged up my glasses like 6 times over, checking out the beautiful fine art prints and toys we have in the booth today. Now, I wanted to actually start over here specifically because today is the anniversary of Christopher Reeve's passing, and I cannot think of a better way to commemorate his time as our Superman than with this gorgeous Christopher Meadows piece, Someone to Believe In, which is so aptly named for something that really captures how iconic his time as our Superman was. Everything down to his expression, to like the hazy feeling of like a memory when we think of what our Superman is. Something that was so iconic and actually beloved because Christopher Reeves himself had a recreation of this piece hanging in his office. So even Superman looked at this when he was looking for something to believe in. And also very exciting, later today at 11 a.m. Pacific time, we have an interview with Christopher Meadows, who did this beautiful piece. I'm so in love and I love his expression, and I'm so excited for that interview later. And speaking of interviews, and if you like interviews, I want to check out this Frankfurzeta piece over here, the godfather of fantasy art, who we're going to have an interview with his son, Frankfurzeta Jr., and his wife, Lori, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. But let's just have a look at these because I'm kind of geeking out right now. I don't know if you are. I'm a huge fantasy and horror fan, and so much inspiration in the genre that we love takes from Frankfurzeta. It's so inspired by like his character creation, but also one of the things I really love about a Frankfurzeta piece is how much I'm going to use the word vibes here. I know there's a smarter word to probably use, but I'm using vibes. His ability to create vibes, and everything from like the scattered war zone in front of him to the slain enemies behind him, and just his stoic expression and the way his eyes pierce out of the helmet. This is actually one that I saw online before, and I saw on a previous day of Sideshow Con, and now that I'm actually seeing it in person, these colors really do jump out at you. Like, it feels almost like it's backlit, but it's just on paper. It's really remarkable. And over here, we have the Egyptian Queen piece by Frankfurzeta. And this is one that I need to have in my home. I need this. I worship this. I'm in love with this. The way it captures light on the marble, and you can really tell what these different textures feel like. It's absolutely remarkable, and both of them served inspiration for what we now know to be Darth Vader and Leia. And the amount of media that we love that has taken inspiration from Frankfurzeta is incredible. We do have that interview for you tomorrow at 11 a.m., again with Frankfurzeta Jr., his son, and his wife Lori. And later today, after we check out a playlist of some very fun sketches, an interview with Bernardo Esquivel, who worked on many pieces here at Sideshow, and many of the X-Men pieces you're going to see later today in the booth when I come back with Amy Chase.
Hey, Paulie!
Hey, guy. You're waiting in line for the con again, aren't you?
Hey, New York City, here I come!
Guy, it's a virtual con. I mean, yeah, we're building a booth, but we're not actually going to New York.
I got every faith in Sideshow. Sideshow said Sideshow New York Con, and I expect to get the New York City experience.
New York? Well, in that case, out of my way, I'm walking here, huh?
Oh, I love that New York energy, don't you?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a special Sideshow New York Con artist interview. I am Andrew Seco, and with me here today, I have Sideshow painter Bernardo Esquivel. Bern, hello.
Hello. Howdy.
How you doing?
Yo, good. Really good.
I want to know what exactly you do at Sideshow, because I don't get to be in the wonderful place that you're at now.
I'm a senior painter, lead painter here at Sideshow. 16 years now. So I've been here a long time.
That's some good stuff. In the 16 years, it looks like you've collected quite a wonderful array of things back there. Do you have a favorite thing that you can just reach out and grab and share with us?
Well, there's a lot, right? I mean,
I know. I'm asking a hard question.
I don't know. Maybe my X-Wing helmet. I don't know. Maybe my Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an eclectic array of collectibles that I have, just, when I take a break, I like to look up. And when I walk in, I get to see my toys, if you will, the stuff I like. I have, 89 Batman statue that we did years ago that I like. It's pretty cool.
Do you collect specifically ones that you've had a hand in making?
Now I do. Yeah. Before I was like, I'll just get whatever. But now I try to narrow it down to, these ones here is the prototype. So that one I took out of the prototype graveyard that we have. And so I kind of wanted it there just so it, I could keep it clean and look at that one. So, yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know. There's so much stuff out there that I gotta narrow it down. I gotta contain myself.
No, it's hard to do as well because there's so many good characters. Do you have a favorite character or someone that inspires you, fictional or real?
Yeah, actually. I guess no. Actually, I have a few. That's maybe.
I'll take them.
You want to hear, but
I'll take them.
Spider-Man. As a kid growing up, I've always loved Spider-Man. His story. I would say, Luke Skywalker, probably Stormtroopers for some reason because they just look cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're the first things you see. You're the first things they see in that movie. A New Hope is what they call it now, but Star Wars opening scene. And I always talk about this. I always see that opening scene changed my life forever. When they blast into the Tantive 4 and that's what you see is them, and then Vader walks in after that. But
that changed your life forever.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is that the reason that you became a painter? Was sort of like on the.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I always dabbled in toys, and every time I got my action figures, I'd always, if I had sand troopers, they didn't make sand troopers back in the day, so I would dirty them up and add a little backpack to them from other soldiers that I had, and do all that. So. My brother made sure that on my birthdays and Christmas I'd get my my Star Wars figures. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, I've always been into toys, and that inspired me. And then growing up watching cartoons, and then like Battle of the Planets, and what else was out there, like Silverhawks, and just all those cartoons. Robotech inspired me, so I'd always draw. Never really played outside. I had a BMX and stuff, but I would really just draw and color and all that stuff, And then I started painting models. That's how I slowly started getting into that.
Okay. So then when you're not painting or drawing, what are your hobbies? What are you into?
Oh, I ride bike, cycling, road bike.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you do those like crazy mountain bike things?
No, more of a road bike. So more like, Tour de France racing kind of bikes, I've been doing that since a long time ago. I raced for a little bit in the 80s, late 80s, actually.
You raced?
So, for a little bit, yeah.
Wait. Okay. So you're both an incredible painter and you do like bike stuff? Artists do more than one thing?
I was asked that on a training ride that I was doing not too long ago, maybe a few years ago. Some guy on another road bike, and I told him what I did. He goes, "Really? You're an artist and you like you're doing something athletic?" I'm like, what's wrong with that? I go, "Yeah, no, as a matter of fact." He's like, "Oh, I really like your bike." I go, "Well, see, I customized my bike here, so I'm an artist. I did that." So, but yeah, no, I got that, but even back in the day, I had to choose, I was heavily into cycling, and that's all I did. My artwork was kind of at bay for a little bit, and then I was always dabbling in that stuff. I had so many hobbies, there's the cycling, there's back in the day, I remember DJing too. So the nightlife and the cycling. So I had to stop one, I did the other, did that for a little bit, got out of that. And then, I have, Dabbled in graffiti. You could see some cans in the back there, but that was just growing up as a kid, being a b-boy and all that. Yeah, that was just a time back in the day when being out with the guys and just hanging out on the street, on the sidewalk there, and dancing and all that stuff. So music, yeah, all that really played a part. I've had a very memorable childhood, and I don't regret it at all. I mean, I did a lot and had fun, and I don't know, I think it just shaped me as a kid. My character as an adult now. I'm still a kid, let's just say that. So cycling is a really big part of my life. I mean, that kept me healthy. Being out on the road and it's just me and the bike, and it gets me out of, like, let's say if I had a stressful day, I've been riding at my lunchtime for years now. I mean, it's been a few months that I haven't been on the bike, but most of the time, people would see me around here at lunchtime doing loops around the sideshow. So.
That's amazing. And I've got rapid fire questions for you. I'm talking real quick. Number one, Have you ever painted flames on your bike?
No.
Okay. Number two, you DJ'd. What are your top 3 tracks of the day? You can't pick the best of all time. What are you listening to now?
Now I resort back to old school funk, like Grandmaster Flash and all that. There's LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, nothing modern now per se. All I know is that a lot of the tracks I've listened to, recently have been sampled from old hits from back in the day, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I listen, I'll go back to Smokey Robinson to even classical, like even like a big band like Glenn Miller and all that stuff. I dabble in that because my dad's what my parents listen to, so I'll go back to that stuff. Soundtrack, of course, we got Star Wars, John Williams. Right now I'm listening to, as a matter of fact, I'll be honest, Halloween's coming up. I'm listening to the Fog soundtrack from John Carpenter.
That is so cool. Okay. All right. Last rapid fire question, and then we'll go back to another regular question. But the rapid fire question, you said you were like a b-boy. How is that a part of your identity now?
I don't know. Maybe dancing was a form of just letting go, letting loose. You know what I mean? And I want to say maybe my painting is a type of that, maybe. But, I'll turn on the tunes here and, when I'm working late or whatnot, or have my headphones on, I'll groove for a little bit. I'll do a little glide or step, or, just be like,
What?
But yeah, I always get tried, Alicia, she's always trying to get, you got to do a move. And I'll show them like old snippets from like old movies, Beat Street, Break In, all those movies, or just like, little documentaries here and there of some groups I used to look up to back in the day, Rocksteady Crew. So, look at those. I'm like, oh yeah, you can do that. I'm like, I'll try to do it. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm my back. But she's always getting me, you gotta dance, come on, please. I'm like, okay.
Do you still dance? Even if it's not on camera, do you still dance?
Oh yeah. No. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. That's important. It sounds like you really spend a lot of time making sure that you're still not just stuck in the art, but connected with the world around you. So that's really cool.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, because that was me. That's what I would say sculpted me. You know what I mean? All those things, everything in my life, in my past, my family, till now, Alicia inspires me as well. She's always telling me, oh, you do so great. And it's nice to hear that from not just other artists, but someone who is just with me all the time and proud of my work. And it keeps me going. I always try to be better than what I was. And if I want to impress anybody, it would be her. Like, just hearing that is very, and especially at these times, you know what I mean? A lot of times, it's kind of funky right now, right? It's kind of scary. People are unsure. So having that voice and having that person next to you and ensuring you that, it's a great talent to have. And I'm so blessed to have had this opportunity to be a professional at what I'm, and it's weird to say that as an artist. I'm a professional, that's it's kind of weird, but, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's still fun, it's stressful, but I still get a kick out of it. I work around great artists, so having them around all the time too, and we bounce off each other. It's pretty cool.
Quick question. Who's Alicia?
That's my girlfriend.
All right. So then last question. What is the best advice you have ever been given as an artist or just as a person?
Believe in yourself. Don't let no one ever tell you that you can't do it. Because whatever you set your mind to, if that's what you want to do it, obviously, it'd be nice to, finish school and all that stuff. But if there's something you truly believe in and you love doing, and that's what makes you happy, then you should do it, because I grew up where, I'll be honest, a strict home, and my parents like, oh, you're going to be an artist? Well, what kind of art are you going to do? Is it going to make you money? I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I never thought about the money thing. It was always about making me happy. I think being happy first is the most important, and whatever happens after that is a byproduct of that. You know what I mean? So if you could just love what you're doing, and believe in yourself, and I think that's the way to go. Believe in yourself and what you do, and if you love it, hey, if it matters to you, go for it.
Bernie, I believe in myself a little bit more today because of that. So thank you. And thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It was fun. I know I went off on tangents here and there, but hey, that's me, man. I would just go on forever.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone at home, for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for more Sideshow New York Con. And as always, don't forget to let your geek side show.
Peace.
And welcome back to Sideshow New York Con Live. I have been Vanessa Gritton this entire time and remained me. Hanging out with me today as our booth tour guide is Amy Chase. And thank you so much for showing me around. This is my first time in here and I'm kind of losing my mind.
Well, welcome. I mean, it's so exciting. This is day 5 of the con, and I know a lot of people have been tuning into our morning shows to catch all the new reveals, and we've still got new stuff to show you guys, so I hope you're not getting tired yet. But yeah, today's booth swap out, there's a lot of really cool things hitting a lot of different fandoms that I think fandoms and scales that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about.
A lot that I've seen in some of the previous videos as well that I really wanted to meet in person, so I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm losing my mind with what we have going on over here.
All right, let's take it over to our first reveal. Guys, check it out. We are so excited to have here the Batman Who Laughs premium format figure by Sideshow. Now this, of course, if you are unfamiliar, is the Batman Who Laughs, the unholy amalgamation of Batman and the Joker, spinning out of the just gangbusters series of Dark Knight's Metal and all of its resultant spin-offs throughout the Dark Multiverse for DC Comics.
I so love multiverse characters because we get to see these really cool, like you said, amalgamations of two very beloved characters. But the thing that I'm really geeking out over specifically is his expression.
Yes. Yes, so this is, it's one of the most terrifying things, and actually I did want to point out, we did a fine art print with Ben Oliver, who did the homage to the Killing Joke that is in our art gallery, where he did a portrait of the Batman Who Laughs, and it's those teeth, it's that smile and the larger-than-life mouth that is completely covered up by his kind of dark visor.
Yeah.
Very, very kind of Hellraiser of him, but yes, the expression on this piece is so warped, and the body language of this premium format figure perfectly exemplifies. I mean, even down to the hand and the knuckles where his nails are kind of flexing. Every inch of this piece kind of indicates the madness that has taken over in his mind.
I love you bringing up Hellraiser specifically because there's a lot of really cool horror iconography in it brought into like that Batverse that we know. Now, I do want to ask about who we have joining us at the base of the statue.
Yes. So for fans who are taking a look at the base, I always encourage people to check out every inch of the statue because it does tell the story. We do have a couple of heroic visages, kind of bleeding and dripping from the faux stone carved base, and we've got the Flash, and I know we've got Nightwing, and I believe there is another face, but I haven't quite been able to identify who it is. It's quite beaten up, but there's a lot to look at in this piece. It is quite frightening, and it makes me wonder, did he carve these himself, or are these just features that he inherited from the Batcave? But I really also like the kind of faux metal grate that he's standing on that does give you the sense of like, okay, this is his Batcave. This is where he operates in the darkness.
Yeah, I'm wholeheartedly in love with like the really thoughtful little details too, like the stitching on his pants or the way the back of his cape just kind of opens up. I'm in love.
Yes, absolutely terrifying. If you guys are a fan of any iteration of the Dark Knight series, I know we're in the Dark Knight's death metal series, and Paul has talked about it extensively on the Comics Hall. That's our comic book podcast. But I do want to let you guys know we are looking at a prototype, so I don't have final material information, but he does have hanging chains, and they do appear to be free hanging. So when we have more information about what those are made out of, when he goes up for pre-order, you will be able to know. However, his costume is entirely sculpted, so all those details of the stitching and the kind of fabric flow that Vanessa has mentioned, that's all sculpted in. And I really do like the kind of faux leather exterior of his very pointed cape here, and he does have the shoulder armor that does look like it's stitched together as well. So there's a lot of details going on here, fully sculpted, and a really cool debut for fans of the comic books.
Yeah, he's so mid-scene that I feel like I can hear this statue.
Ugh.
Like I know he's not actually, but like I can hear this statue.
Yes, and that's one of those things that's like when you get that sort of multimedia experience in your mind, based on whether it evokes a soundtrack or a specific sound effect. It's a really cool thing to have in your collection. Yeah,
Love it.
Every degree, he's just pretty freaky to look at.
Now, we played in some freaky, we played in some horror. I want to go to some sweet, sweet childhood memories, which is just spending my summers playing Street Fighter and just button mashing my way into winning.
Excellent.
I'm going to shamefully admit to right now, button masher, big button masher. I'm sorry, I could just get better, but I just coasted.
Who has time to pull off a properly executed like 6-item combo? Like I can't remember. I am wholeheartedly on the button mashing as well.
Thank
you guys, we are taking a look at a couple of new reveals from PCS, and we are very excited to have these here. Fans who are familiar with PCS offerings may recognize the fact that they have done an extensive Street Fighter line, and we do have a pair of Armika statues here. These are quarter scale. These go in their quarter scale line of characters based on the Street Fighter V designs, and they are very, very faithful to the in-game model. PCS always takes extreme pains to make sure that these characters are reflecting kind of their idealized character model, fan favorite costumes. And we have the season pass, which is what you're looking at currently. And then we also have the Swimsuit Edition, and that is in a line that goes with previously released characters like Chun-Li and Laura and, is it Karin or Karen? Kanzuki. I think it's Karin.
Karin, I believe.
Karin Kanzuki. Yeah. So they're all kind of in a Kanzuki Beach themed base, based on the kind of the DLC stage with their summer costumes. And so there's a lot of fun attitude in these pieces. And I love the way that they do the water. If you look at all the bases that have the water, beautiful, beautiful details. And it's just one of those things that really makes the figure pop, and it makes it feel like it is part of that animated game feel.
The water was one of the things after I like stared at every other detail of this, because Armika is a character that I haven't played with yet, but is so in line with things that I love. So much of like her lucha influence and her like Japanese pro wrestling, like hardstyle influence. But my eyes were then drawn to the water specifically just because of the way it like catches the light in the room and really does look like it's actually wet.
Yeah, and the colors that they've used really, really nicely emulate that kind of, it's not quite cell-shaded, but the new style for Street Fighter V. I also love the detail behind her. Of course, we've got a welcome to the beach sign and caution, shark spotted in the water. There's no shark on the base, but you do get the sense that there is. It seems like a challenge that she'd be willing to tackle.
It's a challenge she'd be down for it. I feel like I'm more worried about the shark in this scenario.
Absolutely. And that's fun because if you guys see some of the other characters in the lineup, I know that Chun-Li is balancing, I believe, on a turtle. And there's like other aquatic elements in all the characters' bases. So next we do have the season pass statue, which does feature her kind of more signature wrestling costume, where it is slightly more provocative because she does need, she likes to get attention in the ring, but also because it kind of gives her like more mobility in the places where parts of her costume are missing.
Where it needs to be.
Yeah, because she's not a super polished character as I understand her in the story. But there's a lot of fun going on here. It is a fully sculpted piece, so all those little ruffles and details that you see are part of the sculpt. And very energetic. Just love the action pose and the confidence of the character. Now, with PCS previous releases, they sometimes do have an exclusive edition with artwork by Edwin Huang. So we'll look to see if that is offered with these pieces. I do love that kind of... If you are collecting these pieces, you have the prints that go with them and then the beautiful statues. These are up for preview right now on our website, so you can go to side.show/coming soon to RSVP and be notified. And then when we have the pre-order solicitation information, then we can reveal or we'll see if PCS is continuing to offer the art prints as well, which I think it's just such a nice collection that of all these characters. Now we do a slightly different scale, towering.
Impossible to ignore.
Yes, towering over the Armika statues. We do have M. Bison. This is a third scale statue. PCS has offered previous third scale statues in their Street Fighter lineup as well, including a number of Cammy statues. But this is Alpha Mode M. Bison, mixed media piece. You guys can see that he is charging up his psycho power, and he does have a fully tailored fabric costume with those sculpted elements like his shoulder pads, and gauntlets, and boots. But otherwise, the red and the black you are seeing is a fully tailored fabric costume.
Like, I know I, as a human, am bigger than this statue, but the way he's posed and the way he's carrying himself, I don't feel that.
He's a very large and intimidating guy, and especially it blends so nicely the cartoony physique of the game with a realism and size to him. Absolutely terrifying, and I do love the glossy eyes as well. And it looks... I'm not going to touch because I believe this is a prototype, but it looks as though his cape has wiring in it, which allows you to kind of pose and get some nice movement going on in this piece as well.
Yeah, I love M. Bison, but like the colors are so true to what I remember it to be. It's such a beautiful depiction of it. I'm losing my mind over these. And also, I want to take a look at some of these details at the base as well, where it really brings to mind a lot of these Street Fighter settings specifically, where it feels like you're in the game, you're in the middle of a round.
Yes, this could be his boss stage. There's some nice, I believe it's his kind of signature skull insignia that is also on his cap, is nicely in the green kind of border around, and then there are those interesting little gold statues around the edges as well. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This looks like you've reached this stage, and here's your challenger, and he is kind of standing on the podium waiting for you. Just a really, really great piece all around, especially if you are collecting the third scale PCS Street Fighter pieces.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And also, I want to take a look over here. I'm speechless. I'm just speechless. Every single one of these sets such a scene for who these characters are. Like, my God, the bases on their own really tell me where we are with each of these characters.
Yeah, so that's such a great storytelling detail that especially once we put all of these Gothamites together, this is our Gotham City DC premium format kind of diorama for the show that we really wanted to show collectors. If they have multiple statues, this is how they could display them. This is kind of how they work in dialogue with one another that tells more stories about the characters and also just really emphasizes what's going on with each individual member of the kind of Gotham City crew. So we do have a lot of pieces going on here from the start. I want to point out Mr. Freeze. We do have an unboxing video for him and an assembly video on our YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, see how he goes together. He does have a beautiful, beautiful glass dome that goes on top of the figure's portrait, just kind of nicely. And watching the unboxing video, it's almost like, all right, that's the cryogenic seal that you put that on top and there he is ready to go. Beautiful, fully sculpted piece as well. with some fun details, like a batarang and the Batman's cape tattered on the base of the laboratory.
That is so cool.
Yeah, just little hints here and there, especially for the villain characters. They really work in dialogue with Batman because you could face him off and be like, okay, so your Batman has just thrown a batarang at Mr. Freeze. No one exemplifies this more so, though, than Scarecrow, who is meant to be, if Batman were looking at him and had inhaled the fear toxin, what would Batman's worst fear be? Which is why we have a zombie Jason Todd climbing out of a grave with the purple toxin, and you're not quite sure, is this real? Is this Batman's worst nightmare?
Is this a hallucination?
So when you pair a Batman piece with Scarecrow, it perfectly tells that story. Now, this is the collector's edition of Scarecrow you are seeing with his kind of traditional stitched together portrait. There isn't a exclusive Nightmare portrait, but I believe that is waitlisted, if not sold out. However, Scarecrow is available on our website currently, so you can check that out and add him to your collection, as is Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is in stock on our website. His exclusive is a proximity piece that is Nora Freeze under a cryonic dome that you can light up and display near the statue.
Oh, I love that. Really quickly, before I ask a few questions about what we have going on here, I just want to plug really quickly the new website for PCS on the Street Fighter pieces that we saw before. That new website is collectpcs.com.
All right, collectpcs.com to see all of PCS's new releases and current available product as well.
Yes, but I do want to ask about this Joker specifically. Because there is so much motion and action going on right now.
Yes, this was a really cool debut alongside a Harley Quinn premium format figure who was also very dynamically leaping off of a Funhouse base. But this Joker really was a challenge to our team to defy physics and give us something that we haven't seen from the Joker before. So what better than having him waving a Joker fish Tommy gun while on top of a Carnival Funhouse pogo stick that looks like his own suit sleeve and fist.
Yes.
And he is smashing the Gotham City Seal of Justice kind of in their courthouse area. And you can see Joker toxin or some other form of prank is erupting from beneath the broken seal. There's a lot of details going on in this piece that, because it's in the diorama, can't show you all of them, but you'll have to take my word for it, including in the kind of chassis of his pogo stick ride, if you will. He has a Batusi 8-track tape in the center console. Yes. So there are just little details like that. That carnival game face is one of the scariest things I've ever seen on a premium format figure. It actually really disturbs me with the wood-like texture and the little holes in it. There's a Batgirl, I believe that's Batgirl. Little plush on his lapel as well. The exclusive edition, I believe, is sold out, but that included a classic portrait and a cake with a dynamite instead of the Tommy gun. But there's a lot of motion going on in this piece. There's unboxing and assembly instructions. Oh yes, and then the treads of his shoes.
I was about to ask about that.
Yes, I was like, I'm missing something here. And he is a fully sculpted piece. But yeah, cameraman Sam is getting a cool view on that. But I would love to see the footprints he leaves behind with that.
One way to say that it was me the whole time. You don't really need to spend that much time investigating it. I got away with it and I'm fine.
Yeah, like no need to be the Riddler who leaves tons of little clues and trails all over the place. It's just you follow the footsteps that say ha ha ha, and then there you are. Now, we also have behind him the Robin premium format figure who is available for pre-order on our website currently. I believe it's pre-order. Now, this is a fun piece because it can be any number of Robins that you want it to be. I know that some comic book fans very astutely will identify kind of the most close references, but there are a number of Robins this can be based on the fact he has a removable hood as well, so you can add that to the cape, which is fully tailored and wired. So you can add the hood to him. And then the exclusive edition is a swap out hand holding a katana instead of the bow staff. So that is a lot of fun. He is leaping over a barrel at the Ace Chemicals warehouse. I love the green of the kind of noxious ooze that's coming out, and those little like bullet pinpricks that you can see.
Where you're seeing the liquid start to squirt out a little bit.
Yes, and of course Robin is an acrobat by trade, so they did get a really nice dynamic pose supported by the one arm a really nice balance on this piece. And so if you are looking to expand your Bat family, of course you need to have Robin in your collection.
And the way he's posed and where he is specifically makes it to where you can really just put him into like any Bat collection based on whatever display you have with whatever character you have, and it's going to work.
Yes, because he is leaping into action. He's maybe not late to the fight, but he's getting in on his chance. So whoever you're pairing off against Batman, or maybe Robin is taking down the bad guys by himself. There's a lot of different options for display with this piece.
Now, I really want to talk about my girl Harley over here, and specifically something that I feel like I don't see enough is Harley on skates.
Yes. So this is inspired by the kind of modernization of Harley, where we love to see her as a roller derby player. Of course, that was also featured in like the Birds of Prey movie, and then the Amanda Conner, Jimmy Palmiotti run in DC Comics. So this is kind of a love letter to that idea of course, what is more dangerous than Harley Quinn with a hammer? It is Harley Quinn with a hammer on roller skates. That is why this is called our Harley Quinn Hell on Wheels premium format figure.
Excellent name.
Yes, I love it so much. Earlier in the week, you guys have seen painting behind the scenes videos with Kat Sapene, who did cover her portrait. This is a fully sculpted piece as well, which I always want to call attention to because of the way that the jacket is so naturally being shrugged off of her shoulders. It looks like fabric, but believe me, that is entirely sculpted. And there's some fun details on the back. Of course, there is a pair of dice and then the number 5150, which relates to psychiatric holes. Yes, so that is a nice fun nod to Harley Quinn and her profession and perhaps her own mental state. Now, this is a fully sculpted piece with the exception of the little pom-poms on her skates. So I will call that out. But otherwise, this is a fully sculpted cast in poly resin piece. And you guys are seeing the collector's edition. I do want to clarify, though, because we do sometimes get questions. The base does not light up. However, the paint job is simply so bright that it looks like a natural neon sign.
I actually thought it was lit up when I saw it earlier because of how much it like jumps out like it's neon.
Yeah, that is a trick of the paint. Our team is really wanted to get that effect, but it does not light up. So I think that's a testament to the effect they were able to achieve there. And then the exclusive edition is available for pre-order as well, and that is a classic portrait with her two-toned jester hood. So you can swap out the dip-dyed pigtails for the red and black hood.
Oh, that's so fun. And then we've got bats right behind her looking as imposing as ever.
Yes, we do have bats, and this is actually the first time I believe this piece has appeared at a Sideshow Comic-Con. I don't recall talking about it at a previous show, which means we probably didn't have it at a previous show. So this is our Batman premium format that has an entirely... We know him by his cape because it's an entirely sculpted cape. And this is a more gothic version of Batman crouched on top of a gargoyle at the Wayne Manor. Beautiful piece. I believe Amilcar Fong did a lot of the art and sculpting for that immensely draped cape. And I wish we could get all the way around the backside because this, you guys can see even just at the bottom kind of the beautiful flow of this piece. It's a little more grim and gritty of a Batman than we've seen recently. And you guys are seeing his collector edition portrait. The exclusive is a portrait that is kind of grimacing and it has shorter ears on the cowl. Love the darkness of this piece and just the kind of moodiness as we usually see Batman standing up and ready to fight. But this is him in his detective mode, in his surveillance mode as he kind of quietly watches from the shadows. Now, we don't have the grappling hook on display, right? Okay. In the collector's edition, so not the exclusive, in both editions, you will get a swap out left hand that is holding a grappling hook. We don't currently have that on display, but that is an additional, option that you have with this piece. And it is available for pre-order on our website right now.
Now, we have him posing on a gargoyle, another character posing on a stone statue, someone that I love so much. I've literally named my cat after her. Catwoman, Selena Kyle.
Yes, this is our Catwoman premium format figure. She is currently, I believe, in pre-order as we sold through one wave of the stock of her. This is the collector's edition you're seeing, once again, with her kind of more modernized red goggle portrait. The exclusive is a classic portrait with the kind of gray wraparound catsuit hood. But this piece is super fun as well. I love the way in which she's dug her claws into the bat statue. Lots of nice metaphor going on with that faux stone texture as well. And you can see that her bullwhip is wrapping all the way down the base. If you watch the unboxing video, you can see how to assemble that. It is a semi-flexible piece. You can't repose it, but it is gentle enough that you can wrap it around the base. And I think that adds a nice downward motion to the piece. She's also wearing a backpack that has some cat and bat themed flair on the backside.
Oh, I love that.
It's super cute. And it's like, of course you need a, like, where does she have pockets in the cat suit? She's
Skin tight.
Yeah, so she's going to need something to carry her latest jewelry heist. And so that's a fun little detail. You guys can see more pictures of the backpack and the turnarounds on our website at sideshow.com.
Now, before I ask about Ivy, I just want to address some of the folks were asking who sculpted the Batman Who Laughs, and that is Raf Grassetti, and the paint is Casey Love.
Excellent. Oh, of course that's Casey Love on the paint. Casey
Right.
Love, we talked about him earlier this week. He has done a lot of work on our Court of the Dead pieces. He is a horror extraordinaire type of guy. So, of course, that gnarly Batman Who Laughs. We could probably go back to him either afternoon show or later in this show, so you guys can get a closer look at that. But that makes perfect sense. And then Raf Garcetti, you said?
Yes, did the sculpt.
Full.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with that horror iconography, especially with Court of the Dead and like those very like drippy, evil-looking details.
Yep. All right. So we do have a couple more Gothamites to cover here. So, I mean, I'm going to take it away on Ivy because she is my personal favorite. So Ivy was sculpted by Steve Lord, who also did the Black Canary premium format prototype that we debuted this week. This is the collector's edition of Ivy. I believe her exclusive is very close to selling out, and that is a villainous portrait with shorter, darker red hair and vines kind of wrapping. So the vines have replaced the beautiful flowers in this portrait, but I love this. She is the toxic temptress of Gotham City, and I love that her base is the cracked earth, because you can see she does nothing more than to just get the humans back out of the way, take out the concrete, uproot it, and create a giant villainous kind of carnivorous plant.
Yeah, it's Ivy reclaiming the city.
Yes, and you know, it's one of those things where it's like, is she really that bad? She just wants to protect Mother Earth. There's a lot of really great details in the way that she is supported in the base. You notice actually that her feet are not touching the inside of the plant. The plant has these kind of tendrils that are supporting her very daintily as she kind of stands in the center. She is the thing that beckons, whereas some plants have defense mechanisms like the nice sticky sap or the pollen that draws insects in. She is the thing that is drawing you into the center of this monstrous plant, and I just love this piece. I have it on my coffee table. She is fully sculpted for what costume she has, and I just think this is such a perfect encapsulation of the tempting and seductive gesture of Poison Ivy and the way she lures you into danger.
Yeah, everything about her face and her hand, it's very beckoning.
Yes.
Now, we were talking about Lucha a little bit earlier with Armika. Speaking of Lucha,
Oh my goodness.
we have my boy Bane here.
Now, I want to point out to people, see if we can, I know it's a little close with the podiums, but Sam, can you show the fact that Ivy's a little taller than him here, but she is on a riser. I want to show you guys, these are both roughly in scale with one another, but Bane is flush against the podium. He measures 26 inches tall.
Wow.
So even as Ivy's got a little bit of a lift on him, look how tall that guy is. This is the Bane maquette that did debut this summer, sculpted by Daniel Bell, entirely sculpted piece as well. So he does have the sculpted kind of costume, what is that? Is it like a jumpsuit or a unitard? I don't really know what
The
that.
unitard. The singlet.
Singlet. There we go.
I knew there was a word for it. The wrestling singlet.
I gotta learn more clothing costume words. You guys can see that he is standing on the wreckage of a destroyed Batmobile. He's kind of rended the front bumper off, and he's taken a tire off as well. Lots of really cool little scratched metal type details. The pieces are not metal. I believe this is a polyresin or polystone piece. And then just the immense musculature of this piece. Now this is the second Bane premium format or maquette item that we've done. There was a Bane premium format previously where he was hunched over. And so he wasn't as tall. It was kind of the more imposing bulk of the figure. But once you see, he's an intelligent and terrifying villain standing full at 26 inches. You really get that in this piece, the kind of calculating version of Bane rather than just the venomed out monster.
Yeah, well, it really captures like the fact that Lucha guys are not just strong but very light on their feet, and Bane is that to the nth degree. Now, is that a little bit of blood on his knee?
Yes. Now, not sure whose blood that is, but that is a nice paint detail. He is roughed up a little bit. We can even see it in his knuckles, but as is very famously, of course, he's the man who broke the bat, so maybe there's a little bit of storytelling going on there. Yeah, I do love the kind of rug burn on his elbows. It just looks so gnarly, and you can see as we're closer in on the piece, even the detail of the veins bulging in his arms, and then you do see the attachments for the Venom tank that is on his utility belt.
Also so impressive that he's fully sculpted, but his face really does look like fabric over a mouth. That you can really see the details of his mouth and nose underneath that fabric.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, you might not consider it as a person who's just looking at it for the first time, but as you spend more time looking at these pieces, the artists have thought of everything, every inch, every way the fabric moves, every aspect of a character to bring them to life. And now, on the subject of portraits, there is an exclusive edition that has an alternate portrait with the classic style mask and the very large red eyes on the fabric, or on the sculpt of the mask. So you guys can check that out at sideshow.com. He is up for pre-order currently.
Oh, that's phenomenal. And I'm really happy you were here earlier specifically to get my first reaction to this next piece next to Bane. I am a huge Batman Beyond fan, and I think I was mid-conversation with Amy when I audibly gasped.
Yes, I love seeing those types of reactions, because I have been in this booth all week, so I do see the characters, but seeing someone come in with fresh eyes, whether it is you yourself or hopefully maybe people on our live stream who haven't seen these pieces yet. So this is our Batman Beyond premium format figure. He is available for pre-order on our website, and you are seeing his collector's edition portrait. The exclusive is a more sleek, we call it the animated portrait. It has longer cowl ears and just kind of the, he has
a little less face to him.
Yeah, it's a little less of the suit aesthetic, but it is more of the animated look. And so this is, of course, Terry McGinnis jetting off a Neo-Gotham themed base. Very beautiful architecture, and you can I love the difference now seeing Batman Beyond versus the stone statue kind of gargoyles of Catwoman and Batman that we saw earlier. This is a lot sleeker and more technological. He is a fully sculpted piece as well, and the physics on this, of course, as he is balancing on one leg, jetting forward, just really cool piece to have in your collection.
It's really interesting how they made it look and move so much like Terry when the actual animated cartoon itself doesn't have a ton of detail to the actual character. So other than just making it a black Batman shape, they really made it feel like it's page to paper.
Yes, and with the consideration and the translation of the suits, our artists are always thinking of practical ways in which, okay, where would the armor be? Where would the lines in the suit be? Of course, we've got the kind of almost metallic red bat symbol on his chest, and I do love the way that they've done the wings to make them really sleek and pointed. But yes, that translation of how the suit would transfer from an animated perspective to a semi-realistic premium format representation is so fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for this tour of Gotham. Now, can we take a look at a galaxy much further away than Gotham?
Yes, we can. We've got the Hot Toys podium for the Star Wars pieces for you guys. Now, as I want to stress really quickly, this is our last day in this side of the booth. We do have the final side of the booth tomorrow, but there is this show and the afternoon show to get your last looks in on our Hot Toys Star Wars pieces, all of which are available for pre-order currently on our website. Now, the biggest reveal this week from Hot Toys Star Wars was, of course, the Death Watch Mandalorian 6 Scale figure from the Mandalorian series. Now, this is based on the Mandalorian warriors who protected Din Djarin as a foundling. Beautifully detailed blue armor on this piece with the customary kind of fabric undersuit and the sculpted armor elements. I do like the Death Watch Mando logo on the shoulder pauldron as well. The figure comes with a couple of swap-out hands for gesturing and gripping, the 2 blasters that it comes with, and it also includes a jetpack with thruster fire effect elements that you can attach. And if you notice, the figure does have one of the Hot Toys dynamic figure stands, so you can support airborne poses.
Oh, wow, I love that. So we can get a mid-jetpack.
Yes.
Oh, God, that's so fun to integrate into a display. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this Vader over here, because this is the only thing possibly I'm missing an imposing Vader in my collection.
Ooh, this is a fantastic Vader to have. This is the Empire Strikes Back Vader. Has a lot of light-up features in it as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, so the chest box, I believe it has the LED illuminated lightsaber, as many of the Star Wars pieces do. And then moderators can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the base, the Cloud City base, also has light-up features, kind of as an ambient display. Now, these figures have also specially designed retro packaging. Some of the Empire figures, I know Vader and Boba Fett and I believe Lando do as well, but there's like a nice classic viewing window for the figure, kind of giving you that anniversary Star Wars, but also throwback design. And of course, this is the Dark Lord of the Sith himself. He does have a number of sculpted armor elements. His helmet, I believe the helmet also has a removable back piece. So you can see, I think that's this version, but I could be wrong. That could be a Return of the Jedi themed one. But he does have a number of swap out hands for gesturing. Of course, we do have the intimidating kind of shake your fist pose here. Hot Toys has recreated his armor so beautifully, just in this 6 scale, and you can kind of control and pose him to your liking and create epic scenes. And now there have been a number of Luke Skywalkers as well from Hot Toys that can really create dialogue with this piece. We do have a Bestman Luke Skywalker on display he made his debut at San Diego Comic-Con 2019. Not yet available for pre-order, but it is up for preview. You can RSVP at side.show/coming soon. He has a fully tailored costume as well, and you guys can see that he does have a Dagobah themed environment base. Lots of detail going on in these pieces. Hot Toys is extremely meticulous with the likenesses.
A lot of wear in the flight suit. And I do want to take a second, since we just talked about Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, to bring a little attention to the necklace around my neck right now, which is the Rock Love necklace. And it is Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker's lightsabers meeting in the middle of battle. So there's that beautiful crystal starburst right in the middle right there, and it's on a sterling silver chain. It's also really lightweight. The second I saw it, I was like, this is something that can go with like a little black dress, but also like just any outfit anytime. I've forgotten I've had it on several times until I look at it and I'm just kind of like in awe of the really beautiful crafting of it. But that is a Rock Love Star Wars necklace, and it is Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker's lightsabers.
I really love also the way that they cross. It creates a kind of chevron shape to like enhance the neckline. I think I'm always thinking about like what I'm gonna wear things with, and the neckline, the nice V, and then it's just very subtle, and that starburst in the middle kind of really ties those together.
I love it. Well, let's take one last look at these because I do really quickly just want to bring attention to the sheer amount of cool on Lando.
Oh my goodness. I think he has been a fan favorite to stop at in this booth, also a host favorite. This is, of course, Lando Calrissian. This is a 6 scale figure from Empire Strikes Back, and he just oozes charisma. Like, all these figures are so detailed, and they really do recreate
so in their environment.
Our favorite characters, but like Lando is so cool. He has a beautiful
smirk.
Beautifully detailed. Yes, the likeness is incredible, and I love the hair sculpt. There's just natural light and movement to the sculpt. And then for those who had been asking previously, Lando's cape does have a wire in it. It's a very thin wire, so you can get some nice posing. Probably not dramatic action swoops like some other characters.
Not like you just walked in.
Yeah, but of course you gotta neatly arrange the cape. That is almost as important a part of the display as any pose or accessory you could have him holding. And he does come with the blaster and the specially designed figure stand as well.
Well, deeply in love with all of these, but I have to ask, because I've been coveting for them for days now. I want to take a look over at this X-Men diorama.
All right.
Because each one is so deeply in their own situation, and they have such lovely little characterizations to them. I can talk today, I swear. And I've been wanting to like check them out up close and personal.
Yes. So Sideshow's X-Men collection has really just kind of exploded as of late, and we did see the interview with Bernie Esquivel earlier, and he did work on Colossus, as well as, I believe, Cyclops. Just a lot of fun pieces. There's a lot of different kind of stories going on in this collection, both from the people who are at the destroyed school, Xavier's school. There are Sentinels being torn apart, and the latest edition of the Wolverine premium format figure that we introduced this week is expanding the snowy tundra scene.
Yes.
So we do have here in the display for you guys, we had a lot of requests to show them kind of facing off. So we have the Wolverine premium format figure. This is the prototype that was revealed this week, as well as the Sabretooth premium format figure squaring off in the icy tundra. And you can see that Sabretooth's base had kind of hinted at a possible Wolverine encounter because of the claw marks in the tree trunks. And then, of course, we do have blue and gold team represented with Jean Grey and Cyclops as well, taking the lead and kind of adding their own unique strengths to the battle
Now, with Sabretooth and Wolverine, I really like that on their own, they very much work as like really cool and really really sculpted in their pose. But they do look like they're locking eyes the second they're on each other.
Yep. Yep. It's a really nice way to, like, they look great alone in a collection, but to add characters to the collection that really enhance the storytelling, you really do get that element of, okay, they are locking eyes, they have a dynamic lines of action. Sabretooth is going for the underneath kind of attack while Wolverine is coming overhand. Just a lot of fun movement and storytelling throughout these pieces.
Now, I adore these two, and actually coming up in the playlist, we do have a really fun making of that Sabretooth statue, all that gorgeous detail, and what I am hoping someday to be an actual jacket for humans and not what is just his fur. But coming up in that playlist, we do have a Sabretooth making of, along with some more skits, behind the scenes, and so much more fun content, and I will see you back in the booth when I return.
Hello, my name is Jeanette Villarreal Hamilton, and today I will be showing you how to build a set, light, and take some awesome photos of our Sabretooth premium format figure. Let's go! So before starting a shoot, I need to figure out what kind of environment is going to be best suited for Sabretooth. A lot of times it's not quite clear, but in this case our answer is right here. He's on a snowy mountaintop in a foresty setting, so that's what we're going to build on. I'm going to grab an apple box, and that's going to be the perspective of the mountain. I'll get some crumpled black paper. I've got some bits of driftwood. I have a couple of tree props, this rocky structure that I'll place next to Sabretooth. And for the snow, what we use is just some all-purpose flour we sprinkle down on top of the set and throw it up in the air to create a snowy effect, and that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get started building. First, I'm going to take the apple box. Next, take this sheet of paper. Basically what this is going to do is get rid of this harsh line and create more of a mountain shape. I'm going to take Sabretooth and set him down. I like the base to kind of peek out just a little bit over the lip. Next, we're going to start building some jagged rocks. And you just take a piece of paper, just start crumpling, and you just start setting it down. So you take your other piece, set that down. I'm going to start adding little log elements, placing them in between the rocks. From here I can start adding some snow, start kind of filling in the scene. You may have to dust off your statue a little later once you're done. Here is this rocky structure. I'm just going to include the very edge just to make it look like a cavernous wall. We got our trees. These are definitely going to shift around and move once I have my camera framed to this environment. For product photography, we don't want any distracting elements to make the piece look a little too busy. The next step is to frame the shot. So I will take my camera, and from there, most likely I'm going to tweak some rocks around, and I'll start moving Sabretooth to where I want him in the camera, and that looks pretty good. The next step is to light the environment. So for this environment, I'm going to light it to replicate Blue Hour. I'm going to need two sources of light, one being the top light, which basically acts as a sky, the other being a key light that's going to light Sabretooth. So for that top light to resemble Blue Hour, I'm going to start with, you guessed it, a blue gel. To give it a little more depth, I'm going to add a purple gel as well. I will just overlap them and tape them together. Once the gels are taped to the light, I'm going to move the light directly above Sabretooth and get it as high as possible. That's going to give a more accurate illusion to the sky. So top light is in position, it's gelled and ready to go. I'm going to fire off a test shot. I've got my camera set at f16 at 1/125th of a second, and I've got the ISO at 250. And now I'm going to take my can of fog and I'm going to spray it all over and fire off that top light. That's what's going to create that nice moody atmosphere that we're looking for. Okay, so the photo's looking pretty dark. I think what I'll do is I'm going to change the aperture. I'm going to go from f16 to about f8, maybe f5.6. Everything's just a little bit too much in focus, and I really want that foreground to be a little more blurred. Okay, so it looks like f5.6 did the trick. It's looking great, and now it's time to move on to that key light. As you can see, the key light is just one giant soft box. Since we're lighting for more of a nighttime scene, the blue hour, this might be too much light. This is more of a daylight type of setting. So I'm gonna take this grid, place it on top of the light, and what this does is it basically narrows the light down and it eliminates the spread. All right, I've got my grid on, I'm ready to take that test shot, so let me go ahead and fire away. So Sabretooth looks good. He's nice and well lit. However, all the light that's falling on him is also falling onto the rest of the environment, meaning that blue hour is completely killed. So I'm gonna do 2 separate images and merge them together in Photoshop. So now that we have a plan established for that, I'm gonna go ahead and have some extra fun with some added effects using my canned haze and a little bit of flour. And that's a wrap. I had a lot of fun building this set and giving you guys a peek into our process. Don't forget to like this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment below.
Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Today we're going toe-to-toe with the galaxy's deadliest hordes. To do that, we'll be using the Bucky Barnes 6 Scale figure from Avengers Infinity War by Hot Toys. Let's get started. All right, here he is, the Bucky Barnes 6 Scale figure by Hot Toys from Avengers Infinity War. Still in his box, exactly the way he's going to come to you. Comes with a wide assortment of hands, this awesome gun that every space-based raccoon wants for his collection, and a disintegrating mechanical arm. I really can't wait to see what I can do with this guy, so let's get rolling. All right, here he is, Bucky Barnes out of the box, ready to be posed. I think for this one, what I want to do, and I know it's going to be on the nose and very obvious, but I really want to use this disintegrating hand. So I've not laid eyes on this mechanism, but it seems pretty straightforward. So I'm just looking at this. I'm going to carefully wiggle it until it pops out. Boom. All right, so here's the disintegrating arm. Just going to go ahead and shove this right into that little socket. That went in with ease, everyone. Yeah, that's very, very straightforward, very easy to do. All right, part 2 for this setup is going to be getting the pistol grip or the gun grip hand in place. So I'm just going to, again, gently rock back and forth with those pegs, so as not to break them. And that was actually easy peasy on the pegs, guys. Love it. All right, what have I got next? Let's just go ahead and shove his knife down here in the sheath. Boom, so now he's fully dressed. The gun has 2 parts that need to be installed. Now there's this port. There's a little door on it that you need to open up. I've never seen that on a gun before this. It's kind of cool. But once you get that open up, then just slide it in and you're good to go. The sight, for those who don't want to have to look at reference material and in order to determine which way is front, Hot Toys has very kindly made 2 different size pegs. Each peg is proprietary to a specific keyhole on the weapon itself. So this sight is going to be towards the front, as dictated by those keyholes. And there it is, it's in. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get that rifle into his hand. Yeah, this is pretty easy. The fingers are very pliable. I just wanna make sure I've got that finger in the trigger guard. All right, so let's check this range of motion on this arm. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted it to do. Very, very cool. I want to get it up there pretty high because in the film, if you're going for film accuracy, which I don't normally really care about, I'm going to try to do it with this one. Let's see, the peg is pretty much where I need it to be in order for it to rotate the direction I want it to go. So let's get it up here. In the film, I know that he had the gun slightly back. Let's see what I can do with this neck joint. Okay, it's a double jointed neck, that's good. So that tells me I can push this bottom part forward, which gives me a bit more clearance. Your first thought on this pose is that you're just going to need to have him looking at the arm, but there's a bit more to it than that, and we'll get to that here in a second. But let's get his head tilted down like he's looking at it. Now, he was walking towards Steve when this disintegration thing started going down. So I'm going to lead with this foot and bring the other foot back. Now, kind of noticed the way that I did this, the way that I brought both of his legs together. That's screen accurate. That's exactly how he was doing it. And there was just this kind of nice little curve to his body that he'd created. And let's give it a twist away from the arm. That's okay, but his feet are a little bit too close together there. It doesn't look like he's walking. It looks like if he is, it looks like he's taking baby steps. So I would really like it if I could just have that back heel off the ground. And just fine tuning at this point. This is mostly good. I think that I kind of want to move his arm out just a touch. There he is. Bucky's friendship with Captain America spans an unnatural combination of life, death, and time. Imagine Cap's horror at having to watch his friend not only die again, but cease to exist entirely. This figure allows you to capture that moment perfectly.
Ah, the smell of New York City. Smells like pizza? Paul, is that genuine New York pizza?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Give me the New York City experience. It's $5 a slice, right?
How about this guy? For 40 bucks, you can have the whole pizza.
Woohoo! I love these big city prices.
Hey y'all, I hope you had fun with that playlist. Welcome back to Sideshow New York Con. I'm Vanessa Gritton here with Amy Chase back in the booth. Fogging up my glasses over this entire collection.
Yes, so we took you guys from about quarter scale X-Men and we're going back to some 6 scale X-Men. Very excited to show you guys these pieces, and for those who have been seeing our X-Men collection throughout the years, you might notice we got a new face in the booth today. This is, of course, Le Diable Blanc himself. This is Gambit 6 scale figure, brand new reveal for Sideshow New York Con, and I am so excited to have the Swamp Rat in the booth with us today. This is, of course, inspired by the classic kind of 90s style X-Men, the kind of generation that everybody loves. Beautiful, beautiful representation of Gambit. I mean, I just want to start with the trench coat. I mean,
I was going to also.
Please do. Yes, beautiful, beautiful tailored coat and fabric costume. He does have some sculpted armor elements, namely on his boots and kind of the chest area. But you can't have Gambit without the trench coat.
The very classic trench coat that I feel like we all wish we kind of looked like when we wear a trench coat.
Yeah.
We're aiming for that look, except when I do it, I just kind of look like cool Millhouse.
Oh my goodness, I love that comparison. But yes, there's a lot of detail in this piece, even down to the little buttons and elements on his costume. And of course, he does have a beautifully sculpted portrait that is based on his comic book appearance. Love the kind of smirking look that we've got going on, as well as his classic Gambit eyes. Now, this piece will include an alternate hairstyle that is the longer hair, so you can choose which version of Gambit you prefer. Personally, I do love the long-haired look, and he does have that sculpted kind of cowl on his portrait as well. Lots of fun elements going on here, and you guys can see that he is currently mid-action as he is throwing a set of playing cards. This is very reminiscent of the maquette, but in 6 scale. Beautiful. You guys can see that he is pulling out all the aces, and if we can get a little closer, I do want to point out the fact that he has a semi-translucent hand that is attached currently to the throwing effect.
That is
now,
gorgeous.
This figure will come with his gloved hands, like the one holding the bow staff, but also a number of the semi-translucent, kinetically charged kind of faux glow, so you can see him using his powers in action.
I love that. And I really love, I was looking over at Gambit's card specifically, because in any situation if Gambit's in it, it's going to be the first one to take my breath away. But I have never seen a laser blast coming from Cyclops' eyes like this before.
Yes. So these translucent X-Men power effects are so cool. So this is the Cyclops 6 scale figure you guys are seeing. He is available for pre-order right now. Of course, he is the X-Men blue team leader, I believe. I always get the blue and gold teams mixed up, but he is a team leader of a kind. This is, of course, Scott Summers in his classic era costume as well. He does have a primarily fabric-tailored costume with the faux leather jacket that is removable, so whether you want him in the full blue bodysuit or the with the nice brown jacket, you can decide that. He does have some sculpted elements as well on the utility belt, and I do love. I never quite know what it's called, but that chest strap he's got going on.
That little strap piece that's just very cool looking, but I also can't remember the name of like that kind of costuming either.
The X-Men have the coolest costumes, but there's a lot going on in these pieces. He does also have sculpted boots and a number of swap out gloved hands, so you can get some fun gestures and posing. He does have a gesture hand for kind of when he focuses his eye beam. He's got a pointing hand, I believe, because he is a team leader. And the exclusive edition of Cyclops comes with another effect for the visor. It is the kind of, I call it the smoking gun, the post-blast with the sizzle, very comic book shape. But I do like the angle we are getting here with the way in which the artists have rendered a mid-action optic beam blast with the way that it has the kind of motion effects.
Yeah. Where it looks like it filled up the shape of the visor on the way out.
Yes, and there is a visor without any of the effects as well. When you pre-order the figure, you guys can see the full loadout on Sideshow.com. I do want to mention, though, Gambit as a first reveal is not yet available for pre-order, so you can go to side.show/coming soon to RSVP, be notified when he goes up for pre-order. You can be notified via email or SMS, and that is when we have, we'll notify you when we have production galleries or pricing when he launches on our website. Now, up front, we have, of course, the Wolverine himself.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful tiger stripe costume. I love that he's got going on here. All of these pieces are inspired based on their comic book appearances, so you are getting that kind of classic representation of the X-Men. This is his blue and yellow costume. As we've seen, Wolverine does have a number of costume changes, even just from the premium format figure we saw a little bit ago.
Like in the white tank top, but this is what I think of when I close my eyes and I think of like the first Wolverine image that pops in.
Yes, this is the kind of essential Wolverine. Lots of great weathering detail on his shoulder kind of armor going on there, and you guys are seeing the collector's edition. The exclusive edition has a swap out hand plate for the gloves that has his bone claws popped out rather than the adamantium claws. This piece also comes with a number of swap out hands for different gestures, so you can have him without the claws, but I think someone's always going to have the claws on display for Wolverine. And this piece also uniquely comes with swap out arms that are non-articulated, but they are in a slightly more exaggerated pose that would be harder to get, I guess, with the
the cross arm pose.
Yeah, so you can do the cross arm pose. So the arm itself swaps out, and that pose is non-changeable, but it is slightly more dramatic than you'd be able to achieve just with the flexible joints. But you have options with this piece, so you can choose your own pose with the arms, and you can see examples of that on our website as well with the multiple swap out options. And then, of course, he does have the sculpted boots and the fully tailored fabric costume as well.
Yeah, I love that suits fit on him, but I am losing my mind over here over Magneto.
I like that nice little swirl introduction you gave him. Kind of made me think of the magnetic fields around him. Of course, this is our Magneto 6 scale figure. He is in stock on our website. You guys can see that he has a flight-based support stand, so you can get him in some airborne poses while he manipulates the magnetic fields of Earth. Magneto is just having a heyday in Marvel Comics right now, of course, with the X-Men kind of being revitalized. But this is a classic version of Magneto. Really nice metallic red sheen and the purple elements on his costume as well. Very intimidating. You see that he does have a number of gesture hands as well. His exclusive edition includes a hand that has a non-removable Cerebro helmet that is balancing in his hand. I believe the exclusive is sold out, but this is still in stock on our website. And the collector's edition does come with a gesture hand that has the effect so that he can be levitating his own helmet. And there is an alternate head sculpt without the helmet on. But this is Magneto as we see him in the height of his power. His eyes are whited out. He does have the fully tailored fabric costume as well. And his cape does have internal wiring for posing.
I love that. So we could just capture him in motion. Now, I want to go back to where we started, which was this Bat Who Laughs figure statue. This Bat Who Laughs statue, because I know we talked a little bit about the sculpt and the paint of it, but it's so remarkable in that it feels like it's straight out of a horror movie.
Yes. So our Batman Who Laughs premium format figure, we are very excited. Again, this is, if you are catching us later in the show, this is the debut of this prototype piece. You can RSVP to be notified, again, by going to side.show/coming soon, or go to side.show/con for all the convention updates. Again, just an absolutely terrifying figure. If you are reading the comics recently, of course, you know who this bad guy is from the Dark Multiverse in the Dark Knight's Metal series. Just absolutely flying off the comic book shelves, kind of revolutionized the multiverse scene. I believe the first appearance was in like 2016.
I think so.
It feels like he's such a new character, and yet we've had him for quite a few years. Beautifully, fully sculpted piece. You guys do see that he has free hanging chains, but I do want to remind you this is a prototype piece, so we don't have final material until the production samples come in. But you can see there are the really nice hanging chain elements that are so indicative of the character. Again, I also want to remind people we did a fine art print with artist Ben Oliver of this piece. And Ben Oliver also did the Killing Joke that debuted this week. Also went up for pre-order on our website. He did the homage to Brian Boland's classic cover. So he is no stranger to creating these warped versions and smiles of the Joker and Batman. And this, of course, is a Batman who has been so inextricably linked and corrupted by the Joker. Just an absolutely nightmarish story, and I do love those elements of kind of mutilation to the character, and his visor that obscures his vision and yet gives him the ability to see across the dark multiverse.
Yeah, and so much so, I know I pointed out earlier, but so much of his hands specifically, where it just looks like it's been in the middle of carnage, and the way it's posed and the coloring at the tips of it, it's so good.
Yes, and so for those of you who had asked earlier, we did answer on the stream, but this was painted by Casey Love and sculpted by Raf Garcetti. Beautiful, beautiful piece, fully sculpted. Again, I actually, now that we're back on the front side, because I know we were waxing poetic about the textures on the back side of this, but the front side, all of those faux buckles that are going across his chest, just really, really nice detail. Those look legitimately like belt buckles. You have all. I
had to get really close to look.
Yes, I love a good piece where you do just have no idea whether you're looking at sculpt or fabric, and you do have to get up close. And like Bane, as we saw in the maquette, he's also got some dirtied, bloodied knees. There's been a lot going on in this version of the Batcave that he's standing in. Of course, we do have the freaky base going on with the Flash and Nightwing kind of sculpted cameos that seem to be not having a good time there. And there's another face that I can't quite identify, but I will ask the artists about that. Kind of looks like Batman, but it has more of a mask to it.
We've been trying to figure out who that is.
Yeah, it's best not to reveal every single mystery right on the first day. We're going to have a lot of fun bringing this piece to you guys when it goes up for pre-order. But yes, there's so much disgusting detail to love on this piece. So if you are a fan of the Dark Knight's Metal series, you're going to want to get the Batman Who Laughs premium format figure in your collection.
Now, I do want to mention that after this next playlist that we have coming up, the show is not over. We have so much more extra content.
Oh my goodness.
We have a fun little extra bit where after this next playlist, I'm going to hop on over to Podium 1 to hang out with Guy Klender to look at some 2 new Hot Toys figures that we haven't actually seen this week yet.
Ooh.
So make sure don't go anywhere after this next playlist. I will be back with Guy Klender. And we're also going to be back in the booth this afternoon at 2 p.m. But we have another fun playlist for you, and make sure to join me back here in a few minutes at Podium 1 with Guy while we check out some new Hot Toys figures that we haven't seen this week.
When a lot of people think of Sideshow, they think of 3D statue product, because that's definitely the foundation of what we are. But we're more importantly an art company, not just celebrating only the 3D, but also the 2D that helps us create the 3D. And I think the print program is a great example of that.
Creating our products and our statues, we would generate concept art to figure out the poses, the costume, the story that we wanted to convey, and it would all be done in 2D.
We would use it for promotional artwork or box artwork, but we thought to ourselves like, hey, there's another way for us to really celebrate this art and offer it in a higher quality as a standalone piece, because some of this art was good enough to be celebrated that way.
Collectors really responded to that 2D representation of these characters. They loved the art as much as they loved the statues. And so we wanted to take that idea and expand it and do fine art presentations.
They tie into the statues that we create. whether it's a direct representation or a direct pose or alludes to a similar pose but the same costuming.
They give us a chance to explore the storytelling in a different way. For example, we have this Red Sonja where the statue shows she's slain this giant serpent. And in the art print, you see that giant serpent still well alive and sneaking up on her. You have this beautiful piece of art, you have an amazing statue, and you compare them together, make kind of an ultimate display and an ultimate experience.
It's really important to make sure on the proofing process that you achieve the colors and the details that the artist actually envisioned for that specific image. We can print in different surfaces like metal and so many different papers. In terms of like representing realistically what you see on a screen in terms of color into the paper. 10 years ago, that was not possible.
We work with a local framer and handpick all of our frames.
We frame everything for Sideshow archivally. We use acid-free materials for the backing, the matting are acid-free, the tapes that we hinge the artwork is all archival. So it is going to protect the value of that artwork for the long term.
We want people to be able to celebrate it and put it on their walls, and so by offering it framed, you can get this art and hang it on the wall as soon as you get it.
That moment that the customer opens up the package, it needs to be something that they go, wow.
We work with close to 50 different artists right now. We started with a tighter team, and as the program's grown, we really started branching out beyond just the in-house team, the standard freelancers.
We're working with well-known artists, Alex Ross, Olivia de Baradinas, the Marvel Studios visual development team.
To be able to work with a wide range of artists and artistic styles and revisit certain characters and present them in another artist's view, it allows for a very unique and diverse presentation of licenses and characters.
I've been doing this for years, and every year I am completely blown away by what I see.
It's exciting to see the reaction to what we've done so far, and we're really excited to see just what's next.
Hey y'all, I'm Vanessa Gritton and I'm back at Sideshow New York Con. Joining me is Guy Klender and a very cool mystery tarp.
Yes. No idea what this is.
You don't know either?
I have no idea.
They together.
Yes, they said, would you just come in and play with stuff? And that's my favorite thing in the world to do. So, okay, let's take this off and let's
put it together.
See what we have. Oh, yes! Oh, there he is.
I love it.
We've been waiting for these guys for a long time. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Okay, they've used photos of the actual sculpts on there, which is spectacular. Okay, well, this is the one closest to me, the Commander Cody, so let's take a peek here.
Let's do these together.
All right, so we slide the top off like a shoebox.
See, I'm learning how to open things so much better with you already because I'm that kid that like rips the wrapping paper.
And then underneath, you'll also have these inserts.
Wow.
That's so it's like the tissue paper in the box.
Yeah, the
and
one
it's
I usually tear at.
Yeah, the second surprise. But you get to see the figures underneath.
Yeah.
Let's take a peek at those. All right, and now, boom.
Oh, wow.
There they are. Okay, these are fun things as they've been doing is the hologram.
Here, Guy, can you close them up to the camera?
Yes, of course.
Sweet.
And we're going to take the coverings off these so we can take a peek. Let's take a look at Qui-Gon first. All right. So I like that you're doing this with me. This is fun.
I know. This is everything that I love about Christmas morning, and I get to do it all day today.
Yes. Yes. All right. Here he is. Okay, we've got our lightsaber. We're going to have a light up effect saber. We have this poncho from his first dealings on Tatooine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the
Gosh, would you look at that
coat.
Okay, we've got a wire inside the hood, which lets us
pose it around his face.
Pose it around the face. Jedi hoods are one of the coolest in the way that they really got very large in our prequels of just how big they...
I feel like it's the only hood that could fit all of my hair in it.
Yeah, there you go. See, I don't have the hair issues. But speaking of hair, take a look at that. Look at the detail on that. Okay, when you get those little strands coming down over the shoulders, now let's take a look at... Wow, even with that, okay, even with it sculpted, we still get a lot of movement.
And let's tilt that hair to the camera a little bit so they can really see how it falls over his shoulders.
You know what we're going to do? I'm going to... You can do this. Twist and remove.
See, and I would have thought I'd broken it.
Nope.
The detail on that face is so photorealistic.
It's gorgeous.
Feels like you're holding the actor in your hands.
Yes. And then pop right back on. Look at the leather on the boots, and this is like a real leather look. This is not a sculpted.
Oh yeah, that moves.
And moves like a regular boot. Okay, moves like a real leather boot. This is something we always look at on our show, and that is to see how the bottom of the shoes are. Wow, this is great. Now I know we're going to be showing off both of these figures in detail on our full episodes a little bit later on, but boy, is he gorgeous.
Yeah,
I'm going to set him off to the side because now I want to dive in to the Commander Cody figure.
Yeah, let's take a look at Commander Cody.
Yes, nothing like seeing the Clone Troopers line now alive and well. Boy, does he have the accessories.
Yeah.
Now pull the...
The first thing that stood out to me too, and it's like my favorite thing in toys, it's always been my favorite thing in toys, is any amount of battle damage.
Yes. Yeah, when they do that is great. Okay, so we're going to have an additional arm here that's going to allow us to plug in the holographic. The different hands swap out. Oh, wow. Look at the detail and paint on that. The front tip there. I'm showing her, but I'll also show all of you watching at home.
I know, this is a treat for me and everyone at home.
Wow. He has multiple, look at that, we get 4 weapons on this thing.
Yeah, he just has his whole arsenal.
Well, one of my favorite things when they do is when you have multiple portraits, and having a helmeted figure like this to also have
that super detailed face.
Look at that.
Really just have whatever experience that you want to pose.
That's the neat part of these figures is you being the last person in the sculpt phase in the artistic process and being able to kind of do them how you'd like. But boy, you weren't kidding about battle damage there. Lots of articulation on this where it has the full undersuits. So if this is any indication of what we're going to see in all of these Clone Wars figures that are now coming out.
And I love the bits of fabric that poke through some of the shielding on his legs.
Yes. Yeah, the ribbed undersuit. Okay, we're going to do this again because they always crack me up depending on how cool they are. Check that out.
There's battle damage at the bottom of the shoe too.
Battle damage, dusty, and a cool new tread.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, I'm digging it. I am digging it. We are going to be looking at this thoroughly on a full episode, but wow. You talk about an incredible figure to be showing off.
He's so much more articulated than I thought he was going to be for how much armor that he has on him too.
They have really, really gotten so much better over the years about they'll be fully armored but still give you that. You're not kind of stuck with a few clunky motions. Boy, he has everything. Well, let's see how we...
Pop that helmet off.
Helmet off. I love that helmet.
But I like that the ribbed fabric goes all the way up to where you never really have that seam in between the neck and the ribbed fabric.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous piece. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm loving that we're getting Mandalorian figures, and that's kind of a brand new line. Now we're getting Clone Wars, another brand new line. So what they're doing in the 6 scale with these and in the Star Wars world is spectacular. This is probably the most weathering and battle damage, scratching, scoring that I've seen in any of the troopers that we've had. Even down onto the calf. This is...
Oh, yeah.
See, look at that. Look at it. All... This is not his first time out in this outfit.
No, this is the mark of like surviving many fights.
Yes, he's done quite a bit. Wow, this is gorgeous. I cannot wait to show these off in full later on our show. And hopefully you'll have one you can play around at home too. It's been neat to unpack them with you.
Yeah, I'd love to see a quick little rundown of some of the accessories too, just so we can kind of see
Yeah,
how they play with your other figures at home.
Yeah, even with this guy here, you've got the weaponry like crazy.
Oh, he's equipped.
Oh yes, yeah.
I love this one.
He has a ton of stuff. And then, what's fun, now you see how well these figures stand up on their own?
Yeah.
But
Their base!
they give you cool bases, and this one here has a little bit of that sand desert
Yeah.
look, which is always really fun. They're designed that it just gives them a little more life.
Yeah.
And like you said,
Sets the scene.
You create your scenes, and with the Qui-Gon one, we get to create a few. Because that you have both sand stuff, but you also have some of the stuff that he was on the Queen's ship.
Oh.
Queen Amidala's ship. Wow. Both of these are absolutely gorgeous. From light up lightsabers to all the different blasters. We're getting our prequel figures. We're getting our Clone Wars figures. We're introducing Mandalorian figures. It is a Star Wars world.
And they can really integrate into any collection based on like what stand that you want them, like if you have like a specific theme that you're going with it.
Yeah, I know that the Clone Wars is something people have been wanting for a very long time, and now to finally have them in hand, it's pretty
So
darn
exciting.
great.
Well, thank you so much for opening these with me today.
Oh,
this was so fun.
This has been great. This was definitely fun to wake up for.
Yeah, and for those of us that are just joining us now, if you didn't see me earlier, I started over in the Fine Art Gallery with that Christopher Meadows painting of the Christopher Reeve Superman, and we have that Christopher Meadows interview at 11 a.m. Pacific time right here on YouTube. And joining me later, I will be with Paul Hernandez in the booth at 2 p.m. But thank you so much for joining us today. I've had a great time at Sideshow New York Con, but it's not over for me. I will be back at 2.